Happy Camper Radio, episode 18. Come on, let's go camping. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Happy Camper Radio Show. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and look who's back from the mountains.
I made it.
Yeah, does it feel good to be home?
No.
I
want to go back.
And what is this with a 3-story log cabin and a hot tub? What kind of camping is that, Daniel?
That's first class all the way.
First class.
The only way to go.
Do you realize
Doing
what
like
you
fourth
spent?
class.
And I don't know how much money you spent on renting a cabin for the weekend, but what you could have invested in a tent plus additional camping gear for that kind of money, my heavens, Daniel.
I'm telling you, I missed out.
Well, that's what I'm trying to encourage a lot of our younger campers to do, is to be able to go ahead and invest in their camping equipment early, and then they make that one-time investment, and from there on, it's just going to be first class all the way. All you really have to worry about is your campground fees and gas in the car to get there, what have you.
What about outlets for your electronic devices?
Well,
us kids have to have our electronics devices.
You keep your electronic devices at home. We've talked about that already, but
Where's the fun in
something.
that?
No, it's going to be fun in a way, because we're going to be talking about that a little later on, because in one of the topics today we will be talking about electronic devices.
Ooh.
At the campsite, kind of like that one you're holding in your hand right now.
Ah, yes, the old iPad.
But what I'm holding in my hand right now is the ceremonial campfire lighter, and we're going to go ahead and get that thing lit up.
Is that gold plated?
Of course it is.
Oh, wow.
It's been around a while, and and I have to keep it handy here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Anyway, 404-537-2267 is the phone number here to the Happy Camper Radio Show, and we're up to episode 18 now.
Hey, we can finally vote. Our episode can vote. It can decide the fate of the country. So what do you think about that,
Do you
Skip?
think so?
I think so.
Is it an opinion poll?
It needs to register first.
But anyway, you can give Daniel and I a call any time of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. All you got to do is pick that phone up. If you have a camping question or a comment or a concern, anything like that, hey, we're always open for your phone calls. 404-537-CAMP. You can also email us by going to our website at www.happycamperradio.com. Just click on Contact the Show right there at the top of the page, and we'll take your emails. And incidentally, speaking of emails, Daniel, we have a shout out here for one of our listeners in Zurich, Switzerland, Ron. Ron, hey, great hearing from you, and I appreciate the kind words that you sent here.
That's where they make all those knives, right? The Swiss Army knives?
It could very well be.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I have one.
Oh.
I've had one for years. Those things, it's funny you bring that up, because, I keep it in my lunchbox.
Yeah, those are nice.
That I take to work with me, because it has a can opener in it. In fact, I had to use that can opener last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to open up 2 cans of beefaroni. That was my Friday morning dinner.
Wow.
Yeah.
You do it first class all the time.
You know it. Hey, it's just like being there at the campground.
Exactly.
So at the campground, I'll heat it up, but when I'm at work, I've got to throw it in the microwave. It's
right.
Just the way it is. I cannot build a campfire at work. Anyway, yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Happy Camper Radio. Incidentally, and we haven't talked about this for a while, for those of you with smartphones like Daniel and I have, yes, you can catch the Happy Camper Radio any time of the day or night. All you got to do is find us in the iTunes store. You can catch us on Stitcher, Podbean, and MyroGuide podcast directories, as well as the BlackBerry podcast directory. So we're out there. All you got to do is go ahead and click on one of those directories there, and just look up the Happy Camper Radio Show. And of course, our website, we have all of our episodes from the very first one all the way through today, episode 18. If you want to catch up on some of the good campground, some of the good campground chats that Daniel and I have had since day one. This is the place to find it here. 404-537-2267. That's an easy one to remember. CAMP is the last 4 digits. Well, Daniel, we have got a very, very interesting topic that we're going to be discussing today. And I think it's one that I think you are going to appreciate.
Okay.
And it's probably one of the reasons you have that little device in your hand right now.
Probably.
Because we are going to be talking about campfire tales.
Okay. Tales.
And what a better place.
Like cat's tails in the creek?
It could be. Is that going to be one of the ones you're going to be telling us today?
No. You know what cattails are, right? Those little things in the creek, and they're like brown on the top. You know what I'm talking about? In the swamps.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to think those were fascinating.
You used to swim in the swamps.
Well, there is a swamp in my backyard. Well, I live in front of a power line, but it's not like that. It's not.
Is that where you go swimming, Daniel? Oh my heavens! Oh, wow.
We would go creek walking, and we'd look for crawfish in the little stream there, and it was fun when I was a kid.
Yeah, you never did grow up. Your wife told me that.
Exactly. I never will.
Yeah, but anyway, we're going to be talking about campfire tales today, and this is one of the topics that I like to speak of, especially when I am out camping. Now, Daniel knows, and pretty much every one of our listeners know by now, that when I go to camp and I get things set up, I just kind of hang around the camp. I don't do too much of anything. But while everybody is out there having a good time, whether you're out there on the hiking trail, whether you're swimming, you're boating, you're kayaking, or playing games or doing whatever, it's always good right after dinner when the sun goes down to sit around the fire and relax. And that is the time that you want to get together with your family, your friends, your loved ones, and anybody else that happened to be there to sit around and tell some great campfire stories. Now, I think it's very, very entertaining. I have quite a few under my belt that I tell every now and then. And they're so good because, Daniel, I come from a very big family. Right? I am the oldest of 5, the most well-behaved of the bunch, of course.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, but I'm grown now, and my kids are grown. I have 9 nieces and nephews total.
Wow.
And when they were much younger, as well as my kids when they were younger, we would all get together and we would gather by the fire. And it's good to be able to tell some of these campfire stories. Personally, what I like reliving old times and talking about what it was like when I was growing up.
The good old days, right?
Yeah, and the kids, when they were growing up, and some of the things they don't remember that we do, and these bring back a lot of good memories. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be, a traditional campfire story that you're gonna pull out of your wallet and tell, and
right.
Why don't you keep on that little folded piece of paper if you can't remember your little cheat sheet you may have there.
Yeah.
That, that's the kind of stories that I like to tell. Also got some good songs, some old songs, they're good sing-along songs you can
Kumbaya,
find. Yeah, there you go.
Song? Yeah, there's your song.
One of my favorites is I've Been Working on the Railroad. Do you remember that one?
All the live long day.
Oh, yeah. Now, a lot of our younger kids probably don't know that, but, if they look it up online, they'll be able to find out what they are real quick.
Yeah, they can go on YouTube. They can go on their smartphone.
Sure. and there they'll be. Okay.
Yep.
But some of those are great too. Hey, now if we have any artists in the family too. When I mean an artist, a musician,
right,
that has experience playing a guitar.
Oh, like the one you played in the beginning.
Bring the guitar. Yes, that tops it.
Like
all
the one
right
you
there.
play at the beginning of the show every day.
No, not that one. No, that's Daniel. That's an electric guitar, and you need an outlet at the campsite,
Brain generator.
Yeah. Hey, I have one of those too. Now, back when I had my camper.
Oh, camper?
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
I want to hear more about
my
this.
truck camper. And I've got a truck camper.
I know you've been keeping it from our listeners.
No, I mean that's
like I'm a camper guy. I've
talked about that before, and I had to put that on the side of the house because it is retired. I'm going to fix it up and I'm going to sell it. But I am back to tent camping again. I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, I'm just back to the old traditional way of doing things.
Yep.
All right. So anyway, Daniel, I understand that you have, since you were the one who really thought up this idea for the show this weekend,
right.
Why don't you go ahead and take the lead here? And what are you going to be talking about?
Well, this is a camp story that it's more of a kids camp story since we're a family-oriented show, and I was just gonna, tell it and see what people think.
Okay, now what is it in nature? Is it a ghost story?
It's kind of a long joke, kind of sort of ghost story kind of thing.
Oh my heavens!
It has a zing. Yes, exactly.
Oh,
Thank you,
my
Skip.
Lord.
Perfect. Oh wow.
Okay,
Good
now
job.
Daniel's going to take the lead. Daniel, let's hear this story. It's
right.
got to be good.
Yep. One rainy, windy night, not unlike tonight, a man was walking home alone down a dark, deserted street that ran right by the local cemetery. As he passed the gates, he heard a bump in the darkness behind him. Not daring to look back, he quickened his pace, but the bumping noise continued behind him. He stopped and turned to see what it was. Coming down the road behind him was a coffin, standing on end, bumping from side to side. Bump, bump, bump. The man, terrified for his life, turned and ran into the driving rain. Behind him, the coffin came faster. Bump, bump, bump. Ahead of him, there was a branch that fell from the tree. He reached down and grabbed the branch as he ran. Still running, he turned and threw it behind his shoulder at the coffin, but it just splintered when it hit the coffin, and the coffin continued to come faster. Bumpity, 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 bump. The man turned to the corner in the street and ran through his front gate, and the coffin ran behind him. He found an axe and he threw it at the coffin, and it just bounced right off. The axe shattered on the unnaturally strong wood of the coffin, and it continued after him. The man dashed into his house, but the coffin crashed through the front door. The man ran upstairs and grabbed his shotgun off the wall display. He blasted the coffin with both barrels, but the shot bounced harmlessly off the coffin. As it continued up the stairs, bump, clump, bump, clump. The man, desperate and scared to death, jumped into the bathroom and locked the door, knowing it would be no good. The coffin banged against the door once, twice, and on the third time the door exploded and the coffin came forward. In desperation, the man reached out his hand and grabbed whatever he could. All that was there was a bottle of cough syrup, and he threw it at the coffin. The bottle shattered, the cough syrup poured on the coffin, and that coffin stopped. Get it? The coffin stopped?
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Okay.
Oh, Daniel, hey, take. There's a soft drink right there, and you need some ice. Okay, I mean, take a breather, to get yourself kicked back into shape.
Right,
now,
right,
wow.
Right. Oh, you like that?
Hey, now let me ask you something. Do you being a Boy Scout?
Right.
All right. Have you ever told those kind of stories
around
the campfire? Now, Now you haven't done that recently. I mean, because you'd have the kids crawling the trees.
No,
you'd have them going out of their mind. I mean, with that type of enthusiasm.
Well,
oh my heavens!
Most of those stories are like that. When I told them in Boy Scouts, there'd always be some punchline at the end, and it was really funny.
Oh heavens! Wow! I tell you what, I'm sitting here. I mean, I was ready to jump in and say something. I'm going like, oh wow, no, this guy, he is on a roll here. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm telling you though, but no, that was good. I've got to admit that. It's a little too fast paced for me, to be honest with you.
Oh really?
Yeah. I mean, I would really have to get everybody relaxed in a mood, and I mean, it's just like when I start the show off, Daniel.
Right.
We tell everybody, look, just kick on backs, relax. Let that stress roll off your shoulder. Get everybody in the mood. Get them relaxed and sit down for a moment and just let the sound of this fire like you're hearing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, just work its way into your body and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly work into one of the stories. Now, hey, I am all for ghost stories. Don't get me wrong about that. I grew up with ghost stories.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Again, like today, because I'm older, I like talking about, some of the things we did in the past as kids. Oh, we have some great ones too. We had our grandmother, God rest her soul in heaven now. She was one that, you could pull a practical joke on her. She would fall for it every single time.
That's funny.
She was the kind of a person, and we had a lot of respect for her. We'd never do this.
Right.
But I mean, if we had a bucket of water up above an open door, and a string hanging down, with her name on it, and it said "pull this," she wouldn't look up. She would just pull the cord.
Wow.
Yeah, and that water would come tumbling down on her.
Wow, that's neat.
She would fall for it every time. It's things like that. We've had some crazy fun, just growing up as kids, and we like to talk about that and share that with our younger ones, our nieces and nephews, and our sons and daughters and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of stories we mainly tell when we go out camping. Now, ghost stories again. I am into that really, really big.
Oh, okay, cool.
But, at the same time, I would encourage each and every one of our listeners out there that if you're going to tell ghost stories, make sure your kids are of age. I mean, at the age where they're going to appreciate it, that they're not going to climb into that sleeping bag. They're going to zip it up over top of their head. They're going to be up all night long. They're going to want to go home because you scared the daylights out of them.
That's the point, Skip. Come on now.
Yeah, you probably scared a lot of our younger kids away, and they're probably hiding behind mom and dad in the den right now.
I'm sure
they're listening
they
to the podcast on their home computers.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Okay, but yes, I mean, if you want to get into ghost stories, hey, I'm always into good ghost stories, and you can find them out there. There are plenty there. Like I said, I've got some under my belt. And in fact, I have unique ways of telling them that some of my nieces and nephews and my daughters have said, hey, can we hear this one again? They know it word for word almost because I've told it so many times, but it's because of the way you present it.
Yeah.
That they're going to want to hear that. Yeah.
There's these books that my wife has. They're called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I will just mention something and she gets freaked out. And like the artwork in these books, I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. They can just look it up. And the artwork in this stuff is really creepy. And they were selling these books to us when I was in elementary school. We'd go to what you call book fairs. They don't have these anymore, and you'd go buy books and stuff. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty scary.
I remember when you took that camping trip up to Virginia.
Yeah.
No, it was just you and your wife that are out there.
Right.
And I know, you do a lot of things during the day, but, I was so fascinated by the fact that, even though it was just the two of you.
Yeah.
At the end of the night before you called it an evening, you sat by the fire and you told each other stories.
Yeah. Well, I always want to do something.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what gets me so pumped up.
Yeah.
It's just things like that, you get out there, and what better place to sit down and tell those type of stories than right there by the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your marshmallows, you got your s'mores, you've got your hot dogs on a stick, and all that other good stuff. It's a great place for great fellowship, good memorable times. It is always a good place to bring family and friends together. Is right out there at your campsite, right by the campfire. Now, where can you find some of these great stories, Daniel? I mean, have you been able to look them up online?
Yes.
Okay.
But the good ones are usually ones that you hear from like an adult or like a grandfather, like you were saying earlier, and like maybe put your own spin into it, and like it's just fun to like do it on your own, so it changes every time. Like, do you ever play that game called Telephone Skip?
No.
Well, basically what it is someone tells you something and you go around the room to like 5 or 10 people and you whisper it into their ear, and they're not allowed to.
Yeah. And by the time it gets back to you, it has changed so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I like. I mean, stuff written down, it's the same thing every time, but like, just stuff gets bigger, stuff gets smaller, it changes so, drastically sometimes, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah. But, hey, I had an opportunity to browse the web before we got online today and did the show. And some of these ghost stories are not very hard to find. You can print them off, and there's a number of places you can go right on the web. Just put in your search engine there, ghost stories, campfire tales, urban legends, and you can find a bunch of stuff. If you're somebody who likes to go out to your local library, I'm sure you can find some books right there.
Yeah.
They got some ghost stories and some campfire stories. Some old traditional ones that you could, can tell your kids right around the campfire. But you're right. It's just like when I was growing up with my grandparents, my grandfather used to tell me stories from the war.
Oh,
and
he would
always tell me, he says, hey, did I ever tell you about this one here? And I would say, what? I don't think you did. And of course, he told me about a dozen times, but just the way he said it, I had to hear it again.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I sat there just it's totally, I'm just totally into what he's saying.
Yeah.
And the same thing will happen with these campfire stories. And, and you may be the one that is labeled each and every time you go camping to be the designated storyteller.
Yeah.
Of course, I like to always hear what other people have to say. And if I'm around a campfire and you're whipping up a good story, hey, I'm up for that. If maybe your wife is over in that side of the campfire, staying away from you. You know, I'd probably be interested in hearing some of her stories too. So, I like to, see it go round and round there.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, talk to some of your friends, your coworkers, and your fellow campers that are out there. And, you can always find a good story or two.
You know what's a good idea?
What's that?
To, start a story and then just go around the circle. Like, you start, 5 or 10 sentences or whatever. And, you make something up like, oh, in this house on the hill, there was this family that did this and this and this. And then you'd stop. And then the person beside you would have to continue and just go all the way around until, you go around twice and then you have a story right there. I think that's cool. Have you ever done that?
No, but that sounds like something I would be interested in doing. Because it's kind of difficult now, Daniel, because as I say, with the kids growing up and doing their own thing right now, it's a little difficult to kind of get everybody together. I'm going to be camping by myself here in 2 weeks while I'm on vacation. I'm not getting all pumped up and excited about it. But I was talking to my brother, and I was talking to some of my other family members and the nieces and nephews, and saying, it will be really nice that, we can set a weekend aside where we can all, once again, get together.
Yeah.
Even as, just take that weekend. And it's a little difficult because some of them live halfway across the country.
Yeah.
But, if we could get together at a campground, almost like a family reunion, that would be the best place for us as a family.
Yeah. That's what I did last week. So it was pretty nice. It was pretty cool getting everyone together and stuff.
I don't really think I would enjoy it as much as I would because, for a moment like that in time, I would be out there with a video camera.
Yeah.
I would be out there shooting videos. I would be snapping pictures because... it's something you're going to want to take home and treasure because it's not going to happen. Maybe never again.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a rare moment that you're going to want to document.
Yeah.
So, and hey, and getting around the fire and talking just like we're talking right now.
Yep.
That's exactly what it's all about. Our number here again is 404-537-2267. This is the Happy Camper Radio Show with Skip and Daniel. And again, call us anytime with your camping questions, your comments, your feedback, and anything else you want to throw at us. Now, Daniel, I was only kidding last weekend when I was talking about the eggs, okay?
Well, we are low on eggs. My wife came over earlier.
Yeah, she came over, and what is she cooking?
I think she's making cupcakes. We're supposed to be celebrating her birthday. We're going to play laser tag and Greek food.
Wow. I'll tell you what, I'm surprised that her and the lady of the house don't get together, Betty Crocker. Because they're all into that baking and that cooking and stuff. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you've noticed here on our website, Daniel had brought back a neat little gift from the Smoky Mountains. And Daniel, I've got it right here in the studio. This has found a new home, and you've got to go check it out right now. It's right there on our homepage at happycamperradio.com. Daniel, this neat little dinner plate.
Yep.
Now I'm not going to eat off this thing because it looks so cool. But I said, we've got to find a place right here in the studio for it, and you check it out on our website right now. Daniel brought this plate back. It is just absolutely awesome. I am just really moved by it. Where did you find this?
It was in this store in Asheville. It was kind of like an Urban Outfitter kind of store, and it had all kinds of eclectic stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Happy Camper, and it had a camper on it. I was like, oh my God, we gotta buy that for Skip.
It spells it right out. Lord, Daniel, I'll tell you what, I thank you so very, very much for that, and it's gonna have a permanent home here in the studio, and it's always gonna be a piece that we can look at and talk about and just chat about every now and then when we have nothing better to talk about. Of course, hey, we're always in the mood to talk about something when it comes, in tune with camping.
Right.
And next weekend, Daniel, I've got a great episode that we're going to be talking about, but we're going to go ahead and keep that a secret for right now. It's going to be a really, really good topic and a really very good point of interest that I think each and every one of our listeners will want to engage in and will appreciate. And again, if you'd like to get in touch with Daniel and I, you can always email us just like Rob did out of Zurich. And Ron, thank you again so much for touching base with us here. Drop us an email. We love to hear from our listeners in far away places. That's why we ask them all the time. Please tell us what part of the world you're calling in.
Yeah.
Because it's great to hear from somebody out there. And Daniel, Think about Switzerland. I imagine they've got some great camping out there.
Oh, yeah, the Alps, the Swiss
My
Alps.
heavens,
my.
yes.
Oh, I'd love to go skiing up there.
That would be a dream. Skiing? No, you're not going to get me on a set of
Come
skiing.
on now,
No,
Skip.
Daniel. That's not going to happen at all.
Do they yodel in Switzerland? I'm not sure. Is that a yodeling country?
You know, I believe it is, and I can remember a couple of the movies that I watched. I can't remember what they are, but it's really. I mean, it really attracts your attention.
Oh, I would love to go there.
Yeah,
we were in France last year, but that's about as close as I've gotten. So, yeah, one of these days. That's cool.
I'm sure. It's right now time for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Okay, Daniel. This is going to be a little bit of a drive, and I don't think we're going to be going this direction anytime soon, but we're going to go out to the West Coast to the state of Oregon on Diamond Lake. Wow, Daniel. I've got to throw this out here because, you know, if you can never get out that way to go camping, at the very least, I would encourage you to go to this website here and look at some of the beautiful, awesome photographs that they have. Diamond Lake, Oregon is a great place to go camping. They're right in the middle of their season. It runs all the way through October 31st, 2013. They have 240 matching sites. It is a big campground, and you know, if you look at their facility map, just about all of the campsites sit on beautiful Diamond Lake.
Wow.
This is a fisherman's paradise. If you like fishing, if you like camping, if you like hiking, if you like horseback riding, if you like kayaking, canoeing, Daniel, this place is the place to be. I just went ahead. Yeah. I checked out a lot of their activities and amenities, which are right there on their website. And you can go ahead and do that yourself right there because it's going to be on our homepage all week long under the featured campground tab. Now, if you get out there, hey, they've got some things within like 10 miles of the campground. You know, if you want to go to a grocery store or a general store out there, if you want to get some bike rentals, you know, and they've got volleyball courts out there. It's not very far away.
Any hot tubs, Skip? You know, I like
Daniel.
Oh, what?
You got to get off that hot tub.
Oh, it's so nice.
You know what we're going to do is we're going to hijack that camper, and I'm going to put a trailer on the back with a hot tub in it, okay?
That's an awesome idea. Oh, my gosh, Skip.
And then you'll be forced to camp in a tent. But, hey, check this on out here, and check out their date range availability, too. They've got a lot of sites out there that have been reserved already, but, again, they've got quite a few that are open. Now, and just go ahead and click on the map and see exactly what they have available. And again, it is a very big lake. It is a very great place to go camping. It is Diamond Lake, Oregon. It is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And as always, if you have a campground that you would like Daniel and I to feature on the program, by all means, drop us an email. Skip, SKIP, at happycamperradio.com. Make sure you include a link to the website so we can feature it under the Featured Campground tab on our homepage. Daniel, that's going to wrap things up for you and I. Hey, it has been a great show. I've enjoyed having you here today.
Thank you.
And I've enjoyed talking with you, and as always. And hey, man, it just keeps getting better and better.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
You know, camping is in our bloods. It'll never, ever go away.
No, it won't.
So, hey, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, catch us on the web at www.happycamperradio.com. You can like us on Facebook, and of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. It's the place to be, the Happy Camper Radio Show. It is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And as always, my friends, you can be one too. Have yourself a great week. We'll talk to you next weekend. Bye-bye.